Welcome to Gravity Throttle Racing. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aaron Take.
And race fans, this is Richard Gere. Can you believe it? We are starting episode 1 of Clone Wars. Well, and race fans, here we are. Lane 1 is Man-Child Motorsports. In Lane 2 is G-Force Racing, DRT 3K in Lane 3, and EP Videos in Lane 4. And the crowd is excited. Lights are now turning yellow as they're ready to go. Looking over the creek, they all make it. Looks like Man-Child Motorsports rear driver has lost it, and DRT 3K in the lead on Mesa Butte. A little hard. EP Videos is right in, and there. All the drivers are tightly packed around the Joker lane. It looks like DRT 3K has the lead as he makes his way. Both of the drivers on to runway 3. Look at G-Force pass EP Video on the runway. But DRT 3K continues to hold the lead, and first and second will go to them. Here comes G-Force and both EP drivers. Whoa, somebody's stuck up there. I think it's Man-Child. And here comes the G-Force rear driver making it in.
Well, we finally made it, Richard, and let's go to the instant replay here. The start is very even amongst all 4 of the lead drivers, but watch Man-Child Motorsports rear driver as he noses it in a little bit, and that's where he lost it. Coming in to Mesa Butte, it was the rear driver of EP that kept the crowd moving. Man-Child Motorsports manages to get in between the lead and the rear driver of G-Force Racing. And now converging onto runway 3, it is DRT 3K Racing with the lead, both driver 1 and 2, and G-Force manages to push his way past EP Videos, but the rear driver spins out. Here, let's watch again. So much action as they make their way onto runway 3. But there goes Man-Child Motorsports, and there is the rear driver of G-Force having a little twirl. But now the twirl also happens to Man-Child Motorsports. Down the scrambler. DRT 3K takes first and second, G-Force comes right in afterwards, and both EP Video drivers finish as well. 3 of the 4 teams finish with both drivers crossing the finish line, and the scores are looking great for 3 of the 4 teams. Man-Child Motorsports, though, has 0.
This group of drivers will battle it again from the top. And here are the lane assignments. G-Force now has the inside lane, Lane 1, Man-Child in Lane 2, EP Videos in Lane 3, and DRT 3K in Lane 4. Lights are yellow. The cars are revving the engines. There we go! Down the creek, over the creek jump, they look good, and on the outside lanes, a little bit of a struggle, and it looks like EP has a nice line going on to Mesa Butte. The rear car had a little bit of trouble, and the lead car seems to be doing quite well. Here comes G-Force. Spinning out on the runway, and there's a pileup back there, but EP lead car makes his way down and through the finish line, taking first place. G-Force has a crash, and here come the other drivers.
Oh, wow.
It looks quite a bit tightly packed.
Yeah, and there's carnage on the mid-portion of the scrambler, and now instant replay. Look at the nosing in the G-Force. Both managed to make it down on the inside lane, and here comes EP. The lead car just forgot to drift. The rear car really took the brunt of it. And look at DRT take advantage of that. G-Force ahead of Man-Child on the Joker lane. Whoa, just about off the track, and yes, DRT rear driver does lose it. Unable to finish. Here we now come down onto runway 3. The cars are looking smooth, and there, Man-Child right behind. Behind him is EP Video, rear driver. Look at how they're fighting around the big U. Both Man-Child drivers are there, but the lead driver of G-Force crashes, the rear driver crashes, and there's carnage everywhere. EP takes the first place.
And Aaron, they're the only team to finish, both drivers in this race, race 2. So the scoring shows that DRT 3K and EP are tied with 21 points after round 1. Let's go to the next group of drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, in lane 1 is the Maker's Box Motors. Lane 2 is Chase Family Racing. Dubious Diecast is in lane 3 and Polo Racing, lane 4. The light's now yellow as the cars are up top. There goes the green light. Oh, a great start by Maker's Box, but a funny bounce, and it's Dubious Diecast in the lead, making his way onto Mesa Butte. The lead driver is a little bit cockeyed. Here comes the rear driver as the others are tangled up behind. Look at Chase Family Racing. They're making good time. Onto the runway. Oh, it's a drag race. Chase Family has the lead with both Dubious Diecast drivers right behind. Coming down the scrambler, and it's going to be Chase Family in first. Oh, and Chase Family takes third. There's Maker's Box, and there we have both drivers from Polo Racing finishing to sum it up.
Check out here on the instant replay as Dubious and Maker's Box have great starts. But Maker's Box comes and both cars land a little flat. Those Ford RS200s look good, but they get slowed up in the snow. Meanwhile, Dubious Diecast, they're looking strong, and look at Chase Family right next to them, even as they make their way onto their respective lanes. And the rear driver from Dubious, another beautiful drift. The rear driver from, look at that, from Polo, sneaking around his own teammate, keeping that momentum going. That was important. There's Chase Family ahead of Maker's Box on the Joker lane. And now watch the rear driver of Polo as he flips his car around over the bridge. Now that's some expert driving. And here we are, as Richard alluded to, a drag race making its way down. They make their way down the runway. Chase Family has the lead, going around the Big U. Look at the cars filing in. A nice wrestling match going on around the Big U, and there's Maker's Box following in behind, trying to hold off Polo Racing. Oh, and it's Dubious Diecast. The other drivers are avoiding, making their way down, but the rear driver of Maker's Box gets himself spun around and stuck. Coming in first with 8 points will be Chase Family. Dubious with 7. There's another Chase with 6. Maker's Box with 5. 4 and 3 go to Polo Racing.
And they're back up at the top. Lane 1 is Chase Family Racing. Maker's Box in lane 2. Polo now has lane 3, and Dubious in lane 4. The lights are already yellow, ladies and gentlemen. There goes the green light. They're off. Maker's Box has a good lead, but look at Polo Racing accelerating to the lead. Chase Family just about lost it, but the lead driver now has pulled ahead of Maker's Box, and there goes Polo. Lead driver looking good. He is making his way around, but here comes Chase Family, and is pulling ahead. Oh, leaving Polo spinning in the dust. On the asphalt of runway 3. Chase Family looks good. Oh, on the right side, but coming through, finishing first. Here comes Maker's Box, and Chase Family's going to beat him to it. There is Dubious, and Maker's Box has 2 finishers. What a second race.
Watch carefully on the outside lane as the rear driver for Dubious gets to shaken and loses momentum. He's out. Chase, lead driver, almost loses it for both of them, but recovers, and as Richard shared earlier during the race, manages to get ahead of Maker's Box. Wow, what a battle going on Mesa Butte. It's good to see Dubious still holding it in there. And we didn't see that before as the rear driver of Polo Racing gets spun around. And now, ladies and gentlemen, watch Chase Family just thread the needle right on through. Chase Family Racing rear driver goes from 6th all the way to 2nd place. There he passes 2, 3, and there's Maker's Box ahead of him. Now, unfortunately for Polo Racing, this is where things got very bad as both drivers on the runway spun out and just decided to pull over and share some tea. Here comes our winner, Chase Family Racing, but now watch the rear driver outrun. What an incredible finish for Chase Family after 2 races, 29 points.
And here is the third group of racers. In lane 1 is Miniature Car Racing. Lane 2 is Monster Motorsports. Numbskull is in lane 3 and Arlo in lane 4. Here we go, tracking, and it's a green light. Oh, what a nice start for Arlo on the outside, but look at Numbskull pulling beside, and MCR is looking good too. Down the Joker lane they go. Numbskull, lead driver, gets a little bit shook up, and it's MCR in the lead, followed by Monster Motorsports in the Joker lane. There they go on runway 3. Here comes Monster up next to him. Monster takes the lead around the Big U. MCR in 2nd place. Oh, and the MCR has crashed. The lead driver has crashed. Here come the other drivers. Numbskull's going to take second. Monster in third, Arlo in fourth, and the rear driver of MCR pushes the lead into fifth.
That was quite an exotic finish. Let's take a look here at the start as we see MCR and Arlo just have a wonderful beginning. Looking good is the lead driver of Numbskull, but the rear driver was quite the Numbskull. And Arlo, rear driver, spun around. And what a battle we're witnessing in the Joker lane. MCR followed by Monster, but Monster takes third. Now, Numbskull has the lead coming around, but he's further behind, currently in fourth and fifth. Just watch these drivers do all that they can to create separation and get to the lead. Straight as they can. Nicely done, all of them. Around the big U. And to the finish, it's too bad for MCR and Numbskull as they crash. Arlo takes a wipeout but manages to get one car through. However, his second car, the rear driver, gets stuck. The first race of Group 3 has come to a conclusion, and it is Monster Motorsports, as we watch here, coming in first and third. All the other drivers managed to get one through. Let's go back to the top and watch the second race.
On the inside lane is Monster Motorsports. Next to Monster is MCR. In lane 3 is Arlo Racing, and Numbskull has the outside lane. The lights are turning yellow as we gear up for the next race. Green lights, and off they go. Great start by MCR. Arlo is looking good too. MCR is pulled out into the lead. Down the Joker lane he goes, and there is a nicely tight pack bunch over Mesa Butte as they make their way, but MCR seems to have the lead, and Arlo has crashed one, and I believe both cars. Numbskull manages to get out. There's a spin around by Monster, but the other backup driver stays straight, and now MCR has crashed. He has not crossed the finish line. Here we go. MCR, rear driver, takes first. It is Monster in second, Numbskull in third, and the second driver from Monster takes the fourth position.
And that was a fantabulous piece of driving.
Fantabulous?
Yeah, fantastic and fabulous.
Yeah, but that's about as meaningful as saying my American football defense is exotic.
Well, speaking of exotic, look at this gorgeous four-car drift as they're all fighting for the lead, and Arlo he squeezes in.
Yeah, but that is fantabulous there.
Well, the drifting's fantabulous, but it was Arlo's defense that was exotic. Oh, and speaking of Arlo, both of his drivers flip over the bridge. Now Numbskull, the front driver, is able to sneak through, but Team Numbskull, the rear driver, gets caught up in the fray. Down the runway. There's a straight line by the rear driver of Monster as the front driver spins around and loses 2 spots. Fortunately for him, he's able to finish with both drivers. Now, coming through the finish line and the score, MCR is able to collect a first-place finish here and get a third-place finish thanks to a little help from Numbskull. But it is Monster Motorsports with 25.
Well, race fans, we were going to go to halftime, but our producers are telling us that we are under attack.
Under attack by what? What's attacking us?
Something on the train.
What do you mean? Cousin Ricky with a giant gorilla and Uranus Fudge and his moonshine?
No, Aaron. Those cars.
Oh, what kind of threat are a couple of race cars going to have? Especially coming late to the party.
Our producers, Aaron, are telling us there's a dark force with these 2 drivers.
This is the operator. Please hold at your location. Roger. Standing by.
Oh, what happened to that building? Look, the car's tipped over. Oh, no. Sith Lords.
Race fans, we're being told that these Sith Lords have come in with only one agenda. They're told to kill.
Okay, Mr. Sith Lords, why?
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor.
Race fans, in lane 1, whether we like it or not, is the Empire. G4 Diecast is in lane 2, then Ironbeard Customs in lane 3, and the A-Team from Canada in lane 4. Now, the Dark Lords, the Sith Lords, they are not going to be getting any points. We're told they are only going to take points away. 4 points if they get a kill. So far, things are looking good, quite good for Ironbeard Customs. And look at G4 pull ahead of the Sith Lords. Nicely done as all the teams are holding tight. Ooh, a little bit of spinning around, and here come the Canadians right behind them, and the first down is G4 Diecast lead driver and Ironbeard Customs. There's a crash. Oh, now a pileup. Watch out, here come the Sith Lords. Oh, the Sith Lords got a kill.
Race fans, sadly enough, the Sith Lords are going up against all the teams throughout the entire tournament, looking to kill. Wonderful jumping over the creek, and look at how all of them are holding steady and smooth A little bit of sliding around by the Canadians on the outside lane, but the drivers on the inside pulling ahead of the Sith Lords. Look at Ironbeard Customs crash into the wall barrier. Nicely done by the Canadians, drifting around and holding together. Now watch carefully here. Look at G4 just repel the Sith Lords and take the lead.
Well, hey, they should get extra points for that.
Hey, Vader, you said they would get extra points for that.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
I think his deal is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, I'm fine with this deal too. I was never questioning it. I know that the drivers are really working hard, and you can see here they're trying to get away from the Sith Lords. And it's Daddy G coming down the scrambler, and he will take first 8 points. Ironbeard Customs with 7, and the rear driver with Ironbeard Customs gets 6. But then the Sith Lord. Ow! After 5 points was collected by the A-Team, 4 was taken away.
Race fans, it's the final race. G4 Diecast in lane 1, the Empire in lane 2, A-Team in lane 3, and Ironbeard Customs is in lane 4. Lights are yellow. Get ready, fans, for the final race. Hopefully they can get ahead of the Sith Lords. Oh, and the Sith Lords have crashed. Oh my goodness, and so have the Canadians. It's now a 4-horse race. 2 teams are left to battle it out. Take a look at Ironbeard Customs come through, but the speed of G4 Diecast, they're clearly in the lead. Look at that lead driver just scream around the big U onto the scrambler. Oh no, he's flipped over. Wow, what a fast finish for 3 of the 4 drivers. A 24.128 is the fastest time so far.
And we begin the instant replay with a fantastic highlight. Watching the Sith Lords crash over the creek jump.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
Richard, are you having trouble breathing right now? Mr. Vader, we're really happy the Sith Lords are here. It's just exciting to have a new competition at Gravity Throttle Racing. So, anyway, if you look at the G4 Diecast Racing and now Ironbeard Customs, it's pretty clear that these drivers are fast. The lead driver crashed, and yet it was the backup driver that got a 24.128. The scores after the second round of the Group 4 show the Empire with 1 kill, G4 Diecast with 16 points, Ironbeard Customs finished every time with 26 points, and it's been hard luck for our Canadian friends as they only have 1.
So, race fans, thank you for watching episode 1. Here is the scorecard as we look at it. There will be 10 episodes. Up top is Chase Family Racing with 29 points. Ironbeard Customs and Monster not too far behind. Don't forget, there will be a trophy handed out for the fastest time. And right now, G4 Diecast claims that time.
Lord Vader, you asked for 2 kills and we had 1.
Don't fail me again.
Are you tracking?